Why are we high on Oklahoma? Well, it's because of that blue chip ratio. CBS Sports thinks they're one of the 18 teams that has a chance to win the national title in 2025. Coming up, we'll discuss here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, the blue chip ratio from CBS Sports and 247 Sports came out late last week, and let's discuss it, man, because while a lot of people are unsure about Oklahoma's chances to be a contender in 2025, the blue chip ratio that says, hey, if you have a majority of your roster as 4 or 5 star prospects, you have a better chance at winning the national title than not. So,
yeah, since they put this out, it's been pretty consistent. I mean, the one team that was an outlier. I think it was outside the 70 percentile was Michigan, and they was at 54%. And it was mainly because Michigan's a super physical team. They just go out there and beat you up, and they got the right players. They got the right 3 stars to go with their 4s and go with whatever 5s they can get their hands on. And they decided that a power run offense was going to win it with a 5-star quarterback that didn't actually have to throw the ball. Now we'll see what JJ McCarthy looks like with the Minnesota Vikings whenever he, gets off the injury list or whatnot. But they were able to do everything they needed to do without him having to actually chunk the ball very often. And that shows you the complexities of defenses in college football nowadays, that it's a challenge. You're not seeing a lot of quarterbacks go out there and just dominate other teams. It's becoming more and more work. But outside of that, though, John, it's funny that everyone is complaining about this 26 recruiting class. I totally understand the fears and stuff of recruiting or whatnot, but this 26 class really isn't going to matter until about 2028. So, yeah, in the future, this could be an issue for us, unless we fill some gaps with a bunch of transfers that are in the right area to be able to prepare for that 28-29 season. That's when that 2026 class matters. Like this year, this season, 2022 and 2023 are critical players right now. R. Mason Thomas, Robert Spears-Jennings, Gentry Williams, Kip Lewis. These are 2022 dudes that are now here. So that veteran presence you're going to need, it's going to be most important at that point. Unless you have your 2026-7 class step up hardcore and they become you get a whole bunch of big time players, and they're the ones that play. So, John, to me, I get the understanding of it, but this blue chip ratio you're about to show, hey, makes you feel good about this team, right?
So let's take a look here. So Oklahoma comes in 9th in blue chip ratio for 2025. Again, the teams that have a chance to actually contend for the national title: Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, top 3, Texas A&M, Oregon, Texas, LSU, Notre Dame, and then Oklahoma. Oklahoma is right at 70% blue chip ratio. This is according to 247 Sports. And listen, not too far behind a Notre Dame at 73%, LSU at 73%, Texas at 78%. So while, yes, I get maybe people's concerns about this class, and depending on where you look, okay, if you want to look at 247 Sports, okay, that's going to tell you one thing. You go look at Rivals. Oklahoma's got a pretty strong blue chip ratio over there at Rivals. So it just kind of depends on where you look and whose evaluations you like, maybe a little bit better than others. But what this says to me is not only have they worked to develop a roster that does have talent, if the stars are what you're looking at, they've also done a good job in the transfer portal to recruit talent as well. Okay. Deion Burks was the 3-star prospect coming out of high school. He was a 4-star transfer. Okay. Marvin Jones Jr. might've been a 5-star prospect coming out of high school. I don't know if you'd consider him a 5-star transfer.
He was a 4-star. He was a 4-star in their ratings or whatnot.
So a 4-star, but still a blue chip transfer edition. Jaden Ott, same thing, a blue chip transfer edition. John Mateer, what was he, a 2 or 3-star coming out of high school? But a highly sought after, highly regarded transfer prospect. So Oklahoma's done a good job at building the roster and creating a roster that's got talent. You look at that defensive side of the ball, and the 2 deep is littered with 4-star talent. You have a few 3-stars kind of sprinkled in there, but I mean, the depth chart is loaded with 4-star talent across the board, both sides of the ball.
So for the uninitiated, that blue chip ratio is only your recruits, doesn't include transfers.
Oh,
and
well,
so your foundation at Oklahoma, and this is the big thing, John, and you talked about this a little bit, but to elaborate more, Oklahoma has done a really good job of retaining players too. They're one of the few schools that have probably like a high 70-80% retention rate of kids actually staying at the school and going through the development line, right? You do lose kids in the portal. Kids are going to get homesick. They're going to realize they're not going to play, or you've got a younger player that's going to jump them and they're not going to ever see the field. But what Oklahoma has done is done a good job of maintaining the majority of the players that they need to have in order to have the proper foundation to be successful. And that's what we're seeing now. We're getting those players. Again, the 2022 class is the players that are playing right now. Go look at that class. Go look at those players that was in that class and who's on the roster now. A lot of them 4s and 5s here. They're playing this season, and they're your anchors. They're your most important players. And so because of that, the Oklahoma Sooners and Brent Venables and the staff have done a good job. And they've retained majority of the actual coaching staff too, John. Like, we haven't really we've lost coordinators. That's about it. Yep. Like, your position coaches are still here. The ones that was flipping guys and getting guys to stick around in that 2022 class, they're here. So because of that, you're now getting to get the fruits of that labor, and you're getting veterans. So again, at this 2026 class, if we were to see it be kind of a scary situation for us, it'll be, how does this team look in 2028? The 2028 season would be when, well, actually 2029 season, about 3 years later, is when you'll see, be like, okay, what do we have in veterans or whatnot? And so as we fill this class up for the rest of the year, we'll be fine. But the good thing is, number 9 in the country, though, John. So that on that ratio, it's 18 teams only. Only 18 teams they have shown can win a national championship based upon them doing the research. Oklahoma being 9. Last year, I think we were 7th. So, but we were young as heck, and that's when you learned it. Now you're playing more veterans. It's gonna be different. It should be a different story.
Well, and again, it was a very injured group.
Very.
Listen, even if that group's healthy, they're probably not winning the national title, but they're a lot closer to a 10-win team than what we saw.
Yep.
They might be flirting with 10 wins. This is a team, I think, that can flirt with 10 wins. The defense is going to be good. Again, you look at the front 4, it's got blue chippers all across the front 4. You look at the linebacker group, Kobe McKenzie, Kip Lewis. Those guys were 4-star prospects coming out of high school. You look at the cornerback position. Gentry Williams was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. At safety, you've got a 4-star in Robert Spears-Jennings and a 5-star in Peyton Bowen, ready to take over. Along your offensive line, you've got 4-star talents. 247 Sports had Logan Howland as a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. Heath Ozida at different places was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. You're going to have a lot of talented players. They just have to develop, and they have to continue to grow. Again, we saw good things out of those young offensive linemen last year. It just wasn't consistently good, right? The Alabama game, they showed what the potential is. Then you got to take it to the next step, right? Now, hopefully that's what this offseason was about. And you added better depth behind those guys as well. So you get a guy like Jaden Gibson, a 4-star prospect, Caden Helms, 4-star. Now, got to get those guys healthy and on the field, but the talent is there. The potential is there for those guys to be big-time players.
100% agree. And that's the beauty of having that, having this many players and having a staff that's able to retain people, because one of the biggest struggles usually for new coaches is keeping staff members, keeping position coaches. You're doing a lot of replacing and stuff. And luckily for Oklahoma, it's really only been coordinators and one guy. And I mean, of course, we're going through 3 coordinators in the last year, but Lebby got a head coaching job, and now he's in year 2 over there at Mississippi State. You had to fire one guy, and now you're bringing in another dude to really run it, because the other guy that was running the offense with them, you decided that wasn't the way to go. There's nothing wrong with that. That happens. It would be a problem if this happened again this year.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
No. If Ben Arbuckle doesn't work out, then you got bigger problems than that.
Exactly.
but I don't think anybody's sitting here saying Ben Arbuckle's not going to work. Just the only question anybody has is how much is it going to work? It's going to work.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's offense is going to be good. It's just a matter of how good is it going to be?
It'll be at least 10 times better as last year, but we just don't know where that goes.
Right. Is it going to be a 35-point per game offense, a 40-point per game offense? Is it going to be good enough offense? Like, that's going to be the question, right? It's not that anybody doubts that this thing offensively can't be good. It's just a matter of how good they're going to be. And will they get the right breaks at the right time in some of these close games that they're going to play? Because they're going to play some close games, right? We saw close games last year with an offense that was boo-boo, and we weren't able to get the right breaks or make the right play at the right time to have a chance in those games. But anyway, Baker Mayfield was in Norman for his annual football camp, but media had a chance to talk to him, and we'll hear what he had to say about one John Mateer coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.